My name is Kylie Allen, and I am from the Saline County Career Center in Marshall, Missouri. And I competed in lesson delivery and planning in the STEM category. This is my reflection over my lesson. So, Hershey bar fraction lesson reflection. Planning my lesson. So, how did lesson planning go? I began by collaborating with my cooperating teacher, and basically, we just discussed things as what they needed to be taught, what was coming up next in their math unit, and when I would be able to teach that lesson. After that was decided, I began to outline my objectives and focused on what I wanted the students to learn and my desired outcome for them for that lesson. We also examined the curriculum and standards for the state of Missouri, just so that I know that I was meeting those needs. What would I change? Which also translates to what can I improve? Something that I noticed while watching my lesson was I wish that I would have divided instruction more appropriately. I noticed that I gave a lot of directions at one time. And for a group of fourth graders, which is the age level that I was teaching, that can totally be something that stresses them out or even is just too much. So I really wish that I would have changed that from the beginning, but now I know that I can improve on that. I would also like to widen my vocabulary. I tend to use the same words very often, and just listening back on the video, I can totally tell that that was happening. And lastly, I would like to use more proximity, not necessarily with the whole group, but more one-on-one interaction, as in like walking around the room and making sure individual students are getting what they need. What would I keep the same? Which kind of goes along with what am I proud of? I was able to maintain 100% engagement throughout my lesson, which that made me excited because this was my first time actually getting out there and teaching a full group of students, and to know that they were engaged and learning something really meant a lot to me. Next, I really liked how I was able to implement tactile manipulatives to demonstrate. I had magnets that had Hershey bars on them, and it seemed like it helped the students to understand what was happening. And lastly, I loved that I was able to make my lesson enjoyable for the students, but also it remained a learning experience. They understood fractions when we were done with the lesson, but they also had fun considering it was with chocolate and they got to eat their chocolate bar at the end. What did I learn? So from what I learned, how can I use this lesson to make me a better future educator? So I had a lot of time to plan this lesson, and I don't think I realized how much time it takes to plan a lesson as a teacher. This is going to help me in the future, knowing that it's not just like let me wake up in the morning and I'll be perfectly fine planning my whole day. No, it takes time. Also, along with that, not just the time that it takes to plan the lesson, but the time that you as a teacher have to estimate that each activity will take or each lesson will take. You may think something will last 25 minutes, but you get to it and it lasts you an hour. And as a teacher, you've got to know, like, okay, what can I cut out or what can I make last longer? And I think this was a really good opportunity for me to learn those things. I was also able to create worksheets and understand that teachers don't just print off all these worksheets online, and some of them do create their own, and it does take time. And lastly, exit tickets. I was able to understand that teachers themselves have to know what you get from a lesson and how you understand the lesson that they just taught you. And an exit ticket was given to my class at the end, and going back and reading them, it made me feel good that they understood the lesson and they got something out of it, which will help me in the future to know that as a teacher, there's a lot more going on than just walking in, teaching your class, and then saying goodbye. You have to have a purpose, and I think that is something that really spoke to me during this lesson. This was the exit ticket that I left for my class, and it says, write any fraction that is equivalent to 1/2. So this correlates with our lesson because we were learning about equivalent fractions with Hershey bars. And in the bottom right left-hand corner, it says, North Dakota, and that was just for them to remember their numerators and denominators, um, and to help them fill out this exit ticket. Lastly, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to my reflection, and thank you for taking the time out of your day. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.